Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. So last night was such a big night in the Walking Dead universe, and now for the next month or so is going to be the time where we can kind of talk about all that, talk about the future. There's going to be some stuff that does come out definitely in the next week or two. It might be smaller stuff. There is still that trailer, right? The season 11B trailer still has to come out. Angela Kang was working on it a month ago. So they might drop it around Christmas or beforehand, or maybe they'll wait till early January. But basically, we're kind of on trailer watch for that. And so I want to talk about a few things that happened yesterday. Some things that actually, something happened yesterday, but there were a few things that happened today. And I also want to talk about why a show like World Beyond likely won't ever happen again. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this as well. If you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, definitely go do so. There was a lot of people there during yesterday's stream. It was really fun to do reactions there. And definitely when we're waiting for big news like this, we will be on Twitch and we will be sort of waiting for it. It was just so fun to talk with you guys all night and wait for that big reveal. We actually got the reveal and yeah, pretty insane, but it seems like it's a very small thing, compared to what they actually have planned for the Walking Dead universe. And so let's get into something that the AMC Network's boss, I believe is what it is, or just AMC boss in general, had to say about the Walking Dead franchise. And that is the fact that the Walking Dead franchise is far from over. And I really do love that. Apparently, they are really staying committed to this franchise, and the next year is going to be their strongest schedule to date. The Walking Dead is ending next year, but they have so much coming in terms of spinoffs and movies and other things that, the franchise is definitely not ending because the flagship show is ending next year, right? So I like that because The Walking Dead does have a lot of potential to branch out into this bigger universe. I will say, though, that they do need to, next year, obviously, they're focusing on The Walking Dead, the main show. So that show's going to end. They're going to give it their all, sort of wrap all that up. We're going to get Tales of The Walking Dead, which, we're going to see the return of Beta for sure. There could be the governor. There could be Carl. There's going to be a lot of little things like that. What I will say, though, is going forward, they need to start to get to things a little bit quicker. And mostly what it is sort of the Rick Grimes movie. And I will also say on that, a lot of people asked Gimple about, why hasn't there been an update on Rick Grimes and the movies and stuff. And basically, it seems like the reason is because he can't say anything. He actually can't. And it seems like he can't say anything because there's a lot of other people involved that won't let him say anything. And here, actually, I'll get into something here that I saw from Insider here. Actually, Kristen Acuna posted this. There's two excerpts here from the article, but it says, where are we with the first Walking Dead movie? I presume it's still a trilogy. Is the script set? Do we have a production start date or a film release date? Is there anything that you can tell me now that we know when The Walking Dead will end and now that The World Beyond is over? I figure this is the next train that really needs to start leaving the station. And Gimple says, sadly, I cannot say much about it. I cannot reveal anything about it so that multiple people don't kill me. There's all sorts of people. How about this? I wish I could. And then there's also another quote here, which, she asks, I don't know when this was. This could have been maybe at the same time, or maybe it was a different article. Again, I'm just kind of seeing this on Twitter, but it says, the last time we spoke, you said that it would be amazing and you were excited about the script. I needed to at least check it and see if I could get any update. And Gimple says, I do regret. I know it's frustrating for folks, and I wish it wasn't, and I wish I could say something right now. That is really frustrating, obviously, as a fan. We want these updates on the movies. We're not getting them. So it is really frustrating. But I will say that it seems like at this point that it is sort of a Marvel situation. That's what actually Kristen says here in her tweet. She says that it feels like this sort of Marvel situation where you can't say anything about what it could actually be, right? You can't get into anything in terms of who's going to be in it. And it's always, with Marvel in terms of all of that stuff and all the secrecy there, it's always pretty annoying. But obviously they eventually do deliver on it. It's just that this is the first movie, really, right? And it just kind of feels weird that there's nothing out there. And Kristen Acuna says here that she says, for what it's worth, I really feel like Gimple wanted to share something, but it kind of felt like a Marvel Sniper situation. And that is what it is. It seems like, I think I am going to kind of Gimple. I think if Gimple could say something, he would. Honestly, it makes sense that he's somebody who likes to give cryptic teasers, who likes to tease people, tease the audience, right? If you think about it, it's kind of not in line with him right? With just like who I don't know about who he is as a person. I don't know him or anything like that, but just, like what we've seen from him in terms of how he's handled the Walking Dead universe. Like, he always teases people, right? He's always like, well, this could mean this. We'll see what this is, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes they're nothing answers, but sometimes they are, right? And that is the one thing I would say with the Rick movies, where it's like, it seems like that he is in a situation. And I find it interesting that Kristen did say that, like, for what it's worth, it seemed like he actually wanted to share something. So that's kind of interesting, because obviously, she was talking with him and she got that vibe, right? But yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. Like, we obviously all want this big update here, but who knows when it's gonna happen? At this point, we're kind of just waiting, and we need to see some proof that the movies are actually happening. Obviously, they announced that the Rick trilogy was happening when Rick left the show. We got the confirmation the following summer that the show was, or the show, that the movie was going to be released in theaters. And then in 2020, around there in the summer, we got a lot of talk from Kirkman and all of them that, things were starting to go in a better direction. They could have been filming soon, or this and that. We heard from Andrew Lincoln earlier this year that they were planning to film, and then some things changed. I'm not sure what happened. And so we're just in a weird place right now, where it's like, are these movies even happening? Right? And obviously I believe that they are. Until they say so, I just believe that they are. But I don't blame fans for questioning it, right? Like, I don't blame fans for being like, it's probably not going to happen. Because it kind of makes sense. Like, there hasn't been a single thing that's come out yet, right? So, I think as of now, I'm just going to kind of go with the fact that I think the Rick movies are sort of in a state of just, I don't know. Is it coming out soon? What is going on, right? And that's the thing. I don't want to get to a place where I'm like, oh, they're not happening, this and that, just because they're not saying anything. Because literally, Gimple could just announce, like, later on next year, as soon as The Walking Dead is over, because it might just take that long, right? Like, we're all expecting it. Well, maybe when part 2 ends. Well, maybe at Comic-Con. Maybe there's literally news when The Walking Dead ends, right? And so if that happens, then yeah, I would look really dumb then. But as of now, we're sort of in the place where I do wonder if he can't say anything, because I don't want to say that the Rick movies are a lie, but I wonder if, like, saying anything about them right now, that, like, say, like, oh, they're not happening yet, if it would hurt, like, ratings or hurt interest in the show, or at least if AMC is scared of that. And so he's not able to say anything about it until The Walking Dead is over, right? And then once The Walking Dead is over, then he can say something. But, like, then again, that's sort of an invalid argument, because you have future spinoffs, right? Tales of the Walking Dead is going to get other shows. Fear the Walking Dead, you're bringing Madison back. You're going to have season 8 airing next fall, and that will air after The Walking Dead is over. Like I'm kind of looking at all of it, and I'm like, yes, that argument sort of works, I guess, in terms of if there was no shows coming out later on. But there's so many shows. The Daryl and Carol spinoff in 2023, like, they can't keep this lie going forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, right? They just can't. So that's why I don't think it's a lie. That's kind of why I'm leaning on, this doesn't seem like it's really a lie. And anyways, I'm going to leave it here with that. Just definitely post your thoughts down below on that, just because that's a whole heated debate. And maybe we'll talk about that in future videos, just because that could honestly get really intense, right? And so let's move on to the next thing here. Obviously, I wanted to talk about the fact that a show like World Beyond is never going to happen again, just because if you actually look at, in terms of how they released World Beyond, it seemed like they knew it was bad. It seemed like they knew it was bad from the very beginning. And I think they obviously just had to finish. And I think that's why they brought Jadis in, because they're like, shit, we need to make this better. We need people to be watching this. So they brought Jadis back, right? And yeah, I think a show like World Beyond is never going to happen again. I think it was their little test experiment to see if they could, get a new audience, which just really failed and not work, because your audience is Walking Dead fans. We don't like stories like that. And I think that's why it was 2 seasons. Because if you remember, when it was originally announced, it was announced as a new series, and the series was filmed and all of that. And I think once it was going to be released, like really close to being actually released and all that, when that trailer came out and things like that, it was like right away it was announced, oh, it's only going to be 2 seasons, which everyone was like, what the hell, right? Like immediately people were like, okay, I guess this show's not going to be that great. Is that why it's only 2 seasons? They didn't have faith in it. And then at the time, I was saying, well, It could be, but there's also the possibility that they just wanted this to be a limited series thing, which no, when you actually look at it, no, that made no sense at all, right? So yeah, I just wanted to say that definitely a show like World Beyond, it's never going to happen again. World Beyond is a show that was just very disastrous in the beginning and was, well, I mean, I gave it a rating of 4 out of 10, right? So I think that speaks for itself. Madison's return hype, obviously that's sort of what took over the online community yesterday, and it's still been buzzing today. It's been really insane. I can't believe it's been confirmed that she's coming back now. That's actually going to be really big. When Madison does return, it is going to change everything for Fear the Walking Dead, and I am very excited for that show. And honestly, that is kind of where I'm at right now. And who knows if the Rick movies are even coming out, right? Like, who knows at this point if the Rick movies are even coming out, because it's annoying when like Gimple can't say anything. Like, it's annoying when he's asked a question and he just doesn't say anything at all, right? It's very, very frustrating because there's nothing we can really gather from it. And it's just sort of at the point where it's like, I think maybe people should just like let it go. And I think we should all maybe just let it go for the time being. Let's just kind of assume they're not happening because there's no announcement. They announced it, and who knows if it's, as of now, it's not happening. In my head, they're not happening, or until we see more anyways, I'm just gonna, I'm really frustrated with everything here. And yeah, I mean, you look at Gimple's comments of what he said, the other day, with Insider, then you look at what he tweeted there the other day. He said, I see this blew up a little bit. It's big, but it's not about Rick Grimes. We're sorry some things are taking a while. So it just kind of seems like at this point, you know what? The movies are going to be happening. I just don't know when. And so as of now, I'm just kind of dropping it because, like, who knows when they're going to come out, right? Like, at this point, it literally might just be like they're waiting on some type of money thing, or they're waiting for The Walking Dead to end, or they're like waiting on stuff. Like, I don't know what the issue is. Honestly, I don't know what the issue is, if it's just behind the scenes things, but they're kind of just in that place where it's like, they want to do them. Obviously, they're not going to cancel them. AMC is going to want to do it. And, everyone's going to want to do it. It's just that there's some issues with everything. And that's just where we're at. So instead of focusing on all that, let's focus on what we actually have and what they're going to be announcing very soon. And that is all the spin-off television shows that we have with the characters on the show. We have Madison returning to Fear the Walking Dead. The Daryl and Carol spin-off, Walking Dead's ending next year. There's going to be a lot to focus on for the next year or two, or at least 3 years, right? So I'm more focused on that. We'll see when the Rick Grimes stuff comes out, and obviously that's just going to be much more amazing. But there's nothing we can do. We honestly, at this point, I think we just have to stop talking about them because it's frustrating, right? But anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.